Hey man, why so glum?
Ugh, it's lunchtime. I'm bored. My Facebook feed is nothing but cats and babies.
Didn't you know that Lunch with Jim and Aaron is on?
No, what?
Yeah, they get on camera and gab with people about TV, life, whatever.
Okay, I'm on it.
Not to mention live streams of all their instant and full podcasts. Plus, they have ad-free feeds, so you'll never hear me make this pitch again.
That's great. I never want to hear this again. Shut up, take my money.
Get over to patreon.com/baldmove to get access and help support free and independent podcasting.
Okay! Welcome to The Watching Dead, the officially unofficial podcast for The Walking Dead on AMC. I'm Jim.
And I'm Aaron.
And tonight we're talking about Season 5, Episode 5, titled Self-Help. Has your opinion on this one changed at all since the last time we talked about it?
A little. I still think that they're having a hard time getting a handle on story structure and characterization and stuff this season, which I always think that they're just on the cusp of putting all that stuff behind them and moving forward. You know, like I said, we were really over the moon about the show for the first 2 episodes, and we wondered if they could keep this momentum going, and the last 3 episodes, not so much. In fact, I feel kind of foolish for being as hard on episode 3.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I felt like I was judging that on the standard of the first 2 episodes, and now arguably Slapdown and Self-Help were worse as far as telling a story. So yeah, I don't know, not really. I haven't really warmed up that much. How about you?
Yeah, I think I have. I've been thinking a lot about Abraham's arc, and particularly what we see in this episode as compared to some of the stuff from the end of last season, specifically like the tunnel scenes, kind of what they've been through in the meantime. And I think I'm warming up to Abraham, the way that his story is told a little bit more. I still think there are some big glaring flaws with this episode that we'll talk about later on. But overall, I'm coming around to the idea that maybe this was a better job of characterization than I'd given them credit for in the instant cast, which, you know, that's the nature of the instant cast. You see it without thinking about it and you react. So
do you think that some of this is a result of you reading stuff online and of getting a little bit more background information? Or do you think this is...
Potentially, maybe it is, but I will justify why I think it's better and what in this episode in particular makes me think it's better.
Okay. So, sure, I do think that there's a lot of angry people with us that are kind of hate listening our podcast. And I just like to say, there's no need to do that. If we're getting you that worked up, you don't have to listen, man. I think that here's the thing. Whenever there's an episode so good, you just want to get up and slap your mama, come back to our podcast and love it with us, because we'll probably love it too.
Yeah.
If there's an episode so bad that even in the warm cockles of your Walking Dead fan heart, you're like, this is terrible, this is horseshit, I'm about to give up, come back to us and hate the show with us. If you're just getting if you're getting some 40 Degree Day type episodes, probably give us, because you're just not going to hate as much as we do, and you're going to get your blood worked up about it, and I'm just worried about y'all's health. Okay. I care.
All right.
I don't want to hear about a Bald Move fan dying because their heart exploded or they had a brain aneurysm listening to our podcast. I mean, I run that risk every week on The Walking Dead. I don't.
All right. Did you find out anything about this episode?
Yeah. So my director and writer theory is kind of in jeopardy because the director is Ernest Dickerson, who I love and respect from many shows, including The Wire, Treme, Weeds, which I've not seen a lot of, but I know you were a fan of the first few seasons, Eureka, and just tons of Walking Dead episodes, stretching all the way back to Wildfire in season 1. So I know this man can point a camera at things and tell an interesting story. It was written by Heather Belson, who has basically worked on 1 episode of The Walking Dead, 1 episode of Black Sails, and 2 episodes of Unforgettable, which I
forget what that is.
I don't. It was forgettable for me. Black Sails, of course, was I think a History Channel Pirates show in the vein of Viking.
Sounded interesting.
I know Vikings has got a decent sized fan base.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, maybe that's sketchy. But then Seth Hoffman has written like 9 episodes of The Walking Dead, bunch of episodes of House, bunch of episodes of Vegas, damn near every episode of Prison Break, which again had a fairly sizable fan base. So I feel like these are professionals that know how to do a professional project, and I can't explain other than maybe there's really nothing particularly wrong with this episode except for the zombie set piece. I didn't care much about.
Talking about the fire hose scene?
Fire hose, and the fact that I really just didn't care to get into this storyline. I had just forced myself to invest in the previous hospital storyline due to the sheer awesomeness of the Carolgarchy coming to town, and then I'm going away to this, and as we find out, it seems like it's ultimately going to be a meaningless diversion.
Yes, although it gave us, I think, some much needed characterization for Abraham, right? Up to this point, he's just been meathead on a mission.
Abraham needs characterization, sure.
Yeah.
And I think I'd be happy to get it. I just wonder if we needed a standalone episode for him to shine in the middle of a more compelling arc about Beth and Company. Okay. Did not think I would string those words together. A more compelling arc about Beth and Company. But that's The Walking Dead. This is what I'm doing on here.
Indeed. Are you ready to get into the recap?
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. We're driving down the road in a bus. We're talking about Abraham and Eugene's hair getting dolphin smooth. Maggie thinks the group might just be right behind them. Maybe they're coming up behind us any moment now. The question Eugene about his hair and his plan, and then all of a sudden the bus flips over. It's kind of out of nowhere there. And we have no fucking clue what happened until way later in the episode.
Yes. That's an accurate retelling of events.
Yeah. So, did you have a problem with this bus just flipping over in a Laurie-esque scene here?
Of course. Like I said, okay. I feel like Abraham went to the Laurie T. Grimes School of Post-Apocalyptic Driving because you had I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe one of the front tires blew, which can lead to some I don't think a guy like Abraham or any competent driver should just fucking flip a car. But I was going to be like, okay, fine. Apparently there was glass in the line, and the glass somehow cut through the fuel line and sprayed fuel in the engine and made it catch on fire, and that led to...
Yeah, so it was like at the spark plugs.
So if let's say the flame, and we didn't see any evidence of this, but let's say flames started shooting out from underneath your hood. Do you have a problem with avoiding things that are in the middle of the road at that point?
Maybe if the smoke is thick enough. There was no smoke immediately.
More to the point, do you think that if you hit a pickup truck with a school bus, you would flip it?
All right, so I don't have a problem with this because
that's Hollywood, right?
This is Hollywood car mechanics. Yeah, you hit with anything with 2 wheels on one side of your car and you're gonna flip. You're gonna roll. In this case,
it's Georgia wood.
Yes,
peachy wood.
It doesn't matter. You hit it on one side, you're gonna roll.
Okay, so
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But so we were speculating about maybe like the engine seized up when it exploded, and maybe that caused the front tires to lock up, which would cause a problem. It would cause
the back
steering.
Tires to lock up, which maybe you get fishtailing and you lose control. But when they wrecked, first of all, like it doesn't seem the engine seized up because, of course, Eugene, what the hell does he know? How does he know that the fuel line got cut? And then, it's like, I don't trust him as a mechanic, as a forensic mechanic.
Yeah.
But I'm having a hard time thinking of a situation where you'd lead to this catastrophic failure. I wonder, but who cares?
Honestly, yeah, who cares?
That's not the problem. The only reason I'm bitching about this is the rest of the episode is annoying.
Okay.
So there we go. I do like the A-team action we got
coming out of the bus,
where it's like, Abraham is Mr. T, Glenn is Hannibal. I don't know. Rosita's face. Who is the crazy guy that always drove the helicopter? That would be Eugene.
I don't know what his name is.
Tara is useless. I like that. It's like, bah, 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 bah. And I would love to see, wouldn't that be a cooler show if they go into a barn each week and that you just have scenes of Abraham welding sheet metal to the school bus and Glenn smoking a cigar and Eugene's building some crazy flamethrower out of a fire truck hose and gasoline and dish soap.
I would watch that.
That's the kind of Walking Dead you want from this group, right?
Yeah, that's a survival action.
Yeah.
That really gets me going.
Yeah, they just go from barn to barn, making the school bus progressively more of a badass post-apocalyptic machine.
That'd be so cool. Yeah, I don't know. That would be awesome. I did a little research on Eugene's claims here about the T. Brooks Ellis saying he had some great hair. That being the head of the Human Genome Project, completely untrue. As far as I can tell, there is no man named T. Brooks Ellis. He certainly is not the head of the Human Genome Project. That is Francis Collins, for anybody who's wondering. Are they just having fun here?
I don't know.
Are they trying to...
Maybe the Human Genome Project coordinator found out that they were going to intimate that Eugene was one of his employees. He said, I will sue for defamation.
I would never hire that man.
Say that shit and I will sue you. I will never work in science again if you said I'd put that mullet on my staff, even as a joke.
Yeah.
Even as a joke.
Even as a lie.
He ceased and desist. Yeah. He had him barred from using that plot line, so Gimple had to scramble and just make shit up.
Could be. I think when this supposed T. Brooks Ellis guy was telling Eugene that his hair made him look like a fun guy. Fun guy was in air quotes.
Yeah, and he's like, a fun guy, by which I mean a mushroom.
Yeah.
I'm kept in the dark and Abraham feeds me bullshit. Actually, that's a little reverse. Eugene treats Abraham like the mushroom.
Yes, he does.
But anyway.
This is kind of the first we see of Abraham and Rosita's relationship in any real capacity.
Yeah, a lot of her emails said that kind of came flying out of nowhere. Agree or disagree?
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, I always thought that was the hint, and I don't know if it's because that the comic book experience where they were very clearly a couple kind of colored that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And now that I can actually say that since it's on the screen, but I felt like from a television standpoint, they always... I never got a hint that they were hot and heavy for each other.
No,
and now they're fucking dolphin style.
Yeah. Ugh.
Abraham's got his blowhole going. His S-shaped prehensile penis is just exploring every crevice.
Jesus. Then we get a flashback.
It's the style love making that really gives one pause.
Yeah.
Echolocation. Can't rely on lights in a zombie apocalypse.
For sure. No, that's totally true. So we go to, the theme music, and then when we come back, we've got a flashback of Abraham beating 4 men to death with a can of soup. With individual cans of soup. A can of soup for each man he kills.
That's exactly right. You got you got to use different techniques for certain people. One guy, tomato soup.
The other guy gets the edge.
The other guy, cream of mushroom. Mm-hmm. You might need broccoli,
vegetable
cheese.
beef.
Yeah, vegetable beef for a real motherfucker that you really want to fuck up.
Yeah, I think you get broccoli cheddar for that, right?
Really?
That's a dense, thick soup.
The chunky hearty style.
Yeah,
it's really going to lay bricks on them. Did they? Did they just all lay there?
I think so.
And await their turn to be beat to death by Abraham?
Unless he did like a Zangief spinning flying can of soup.
Knock them all.
Roundhouse. Like he comes spinning down the aisle with 2 cans of soup.
It's a special attack. Knocked them all unconscious, and then he just finished the job while they were laying there wheezing.
I did already say he's a Street Fighter character, so maybe that's
he's gone from being
move.
Hagar, isn't it? For on was it Final Fight or River City?
Sure, Hagar was on Final Fight, yeah.
And now he's Zangief from Street Fighter.
Yep,
sure.
A little
he's not
mixed
Zangief,
in with Guile.
Point of fact, Zangief not Dolphin Smooth.
No, God,
he's festooned with hair.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. The group breaks into that's way later. The group wakes up, crashed in the bus with walkers all around, and then they make their escape, like we were talking about. Him busting out and double fisting walkers. Tara gives Eugene a knife, and then he ends up saving her with it. Then they all they kill the walkers, and then Abraham's cut opens up, but he refuses to go back 15 miles to the church to fix it. He took a pretty hard shot to the sack, apparently.
What is up with the neck stabbing walkers?
I don't know, man. I felt like they had established you have to destroy the brain, and yet they're using a 4-inch blade to stab up through the chin. I don't think a 4-inch blade reaches into your brain.
I don't know. I thought Abraham's was more of a 6-incher.
Abraham's for sure, but the blade that Tara had, the blade that Eugene had,
when he's putting that in at the bottom of their jaw, because they've done a couple where the zombies' mouths open and they poke up through the roof of their mouth. Obviously, that's going to get the job done, although there's a lot of sinuses and whatnot. It's interesting because I've always thought it was weird that any shot to the brain disables a zombie when from Jenner's little science show, we learned it was actually the brain stem, the little walnut-sized jobby there at the base of the spine that does all the magic. But, whatever. I feel like in The Walking Dead, you have to treat anything above the neck as fatal when it comes to zombies.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, there's real-life stories of dudes getting rebar through the eye socket, out the back of their head, and fully recovering.
Yep. Maybe
they go a radical change of personality, whatever. But
or maybe nothing.
Or sometimes nothing, yeah. Like the old-school lobotomy procedure was to stick an ice pick in the temple and, wiggle it up and down. That did not kill the person. That did not kill the patient, obviously.
Yeah.
Or at least not all the time.
So, ideally, you would want to get them either sever their spinal cord so they can't move.
Right.
That would absolutely work.
Yep.
The other option is to get their motor cortex, I guess. Whatever moves the zombies, you could get that. Or just plain do enough damage to their head where the brain stops working, I guess.
Yeah. But I'm just going forward, my zombie science is that as long as you have a hit anywhere above the neck, it's going to be fatal to a zombie.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
good call.
We'll never get through an episode.
Yeah. Did you have a problem with them kind of all agreeing that 15 miles back to the church was not the way to go here? There's a moment where both Glenn and Abraham ask for permission and kind of say, you're the one running the show to each other.
Yeah, I felt
like that was weird.
And I someone in it should have said something, right? Maggie seemed almost happy when Glenn decided to carry on.
Yeah.
And again, that was one of the problems with if Abraham is so hell-bent on keeping what's-his-face safe, Eugene safe, it seems like pushing ahead when you're 15 miles out. I'm literally, Glenn could be like, "Guy, we can make it back there before it gets dark."
Yeah, we have no water. We have no supplies of any kind.
Right. We could go back, from a position of strength, find a better vehicle.
Yeah.
And then keep moving. It'd be one thing if the I feel like it'd be one thing if the church bus just broke down, but it flipped over and exploded.
Yeah,
you can't fix it.
No,
I feel like that's like FUBAR head back.
You would think so,
and I understand that Abraham is not wired that way, but
sure.
Everybody, no one else seems like they have a suicide wish, and Glenn and Maggie are only there to try to keep Rick and Abraham from fighting, so it was a little weird that them and Tara just went along with whatever.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand why everyone else was going along with it, even if I do understand why Abraham wants to continue. It makes a lot of sense why he does. But I'm with you. I think that was a little silly of them not to insist on, we're going back, fuck whatever you want to do.
Really cool zombie, or not kill, but disgusting zombie scene of the hillbilly zombie. He's like all bare-chested with a big, long white beard.
Yeah, coming through the window.
Yeah, and he impales himself in that shard of glass, just working it in his guts. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty gross.
That was pretty tasty.
We get another flashback from Abraham. It's just really quickly him looking for his family after he murders these guys. That's it. They're kind of piecemealing us here a little bit.
And you see a little bit. Well, I'll wait for another scene because yeah.
Then the group breaks into the bookstore and Tara drinks some water out of the toilet.
You do.
While the rest of the group is securing the bookstore, and Rosita sews up Abraham's hand. A lot of good stuff in this scene as far as zombie survival goes.
You know this. I've written many zombie survival guides for season. I wrote a whole fucking book on season 1. I've got half of season 2 covered, like half of season 3, half of season 4. Which, by the way, I got 7 5-star reviews on Amazon for that.
Shit.
If you want to check out my survival guide for season 1, book.baldmove.com, you can read a lot of it for free. It's Kindle Lendable. It's on the Kindle Unlimited plan. It's super easy to get. It's $2.99 if you don't got any of that stuff.
Unlimited Kindle Lendable?
Yeah.
Kindle Lendable.
You buy it and you can lend it to all your friends.
Okay.
If you got Kindle Unlimited, you can just get it for, it's like, all you can eat buffet.
Lendable on Kindle.
Lendable.
Try and say that 5 times fast.
With a book by Stephen Linder from The Bridge. It's a Lendable Kindle. But yeah, check it out. book.baldmove.com.
Cool.
This is porn for me.
Yeah.
I like I just get excitement from the idea of like, oh, they're making a grate out of
clothes hangers.
Yeah, and they're recovering water out of the tank on the back of the toilet.
And I like what Eugene does. He takes a battery and a strip of foil.
Litchfield lighter, right out of Orange is the New Black.
Is that what that's called?
Well, that was one of the plot points. It's just a joke on theirs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and he straps it to the 2 terminals and he touches it to the paper and it lights up.
Supposedly that works.
I would imagine.
Let's try it. That's something for lunch with Jim and Aaron.
Okay. We will
try to set things on fire in our studio.
On our wooden table. Lacquered up.
We will be liquored up. The table's lacquered up. And we will be making flambe.
Great. And also using stitching from books to sew up Abraham's hand.
Is that a good idea? Is that superior to any other thread?
It's superior to no thread.
Sure, but
I don't know if they had thread. Their first aid kit.
They're surrounded by cotton, fabric of our lives. I mean, if I wanted to, I could produce thread right now.
Sure.
With this T-shirt.
Yeah.
I would like to ask the question, is there any reason that bookbinding thread... And every time I ask these questions,
it's strong.
I fully expect to hear from a surgeon, 2 battlefield medics, and like a backwoods survivalist. Oh yeah, and a bookbinder by next week, and I'll get to choose one of the 5 to read.
Yeah,
whoever's got the best bullshit story, probably.
All right. So anyway, I liked a lot of that stuff there, and that's kind of why I like Max Brooks stuff with the Zombie Survival Guide, all those little tidbits. Anyway, Abraham is standing guard, and then Glenn walks up, and there's a moment where a walker just smashes his face a couple times against the glass, which I thought was cool. Abraham thanks him for coming along, and then he philosophizes about killing people in this stage of the apocalypse a little bit.
I also like the suggestion where he's like, you could have broken your agreement. And Glenn's like, I'm not that kind of guy. He's like, what would I do? Beat you to death?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, although I don't know if he could take Glenn because the first time they fought, nothing happened. So it's like...
I thought it was interrupted.
It was.
By a zombie falling from a 2nd-story window.
Potentially, yeah.
Else, I think Glenn would have been in trouble. But Glenn had the gung-ho... Take no retreat. I'm going through the fucking scary ass tunnel for no valid reason.
Right.
And Abraham's like, whoa, man, it's just a couple miles the other way. Do you think that this is like that gung ho asshole is something like the measles? Like you can only get it once. It's highly communicable. It's now Abraham's turn.
Rubbed off on him.
Oh,
Rosita's getting it next.
No, he
obviously
it's bloodborne. So he beat He got in a tussle with Eugene, and now Eugene's going to have it. Eugene's going to be the gung-ho.
Could be. We
must go right through this horde.
Well, this is one of the things that I at first had a big problem with.
Like a chili cheese burrito through my bowels.
With the characterization of Abraham, I felt like he had turned into a different character at this point. Like they were using the flashback to show us something about Abraham that didn't seem to exist in his character before.
Well, yeah, and like what?
But I, like finishing my point, I think the circumstances around what he's seen and around Terminus specifically might have changed him significantly, or at least made it clear that this world is not one in which you can take it in this lackadaisical fashion. Like you can't stop, you can't rest, and now like the world is fighting against him, so he's pushing back even harder.
I think that's the Terminus has got to be the only thing that did change him, and the only problem I have with that, because that's valid, Terminus was a shit show.
Yeah,
it could definitely change one's opinion on the world, because it's like before then, it's like maybe it was just zombies. You didn't have the whole human threat element, and that like really changed his opinion, which makes me wonder. Is Georgia the only state in the Union where people have just gotten depraved, crazy, cannibal, prison, zombie, daughter, WWF fighting? Like everybody else is kind of like working together and kind-hearted, and it's like the threat. You get to Georgia, and it's like the fucking Thunderdome.
So if they were to make it outside of Georgia,
if you can make it,
the land of peaches is somehow
that they've got Georgians have developed a chemical dependency to peaches.
And now that the peaches aren't flowing,
the harsh Georgia winter killed all the orchard. They didn't have any peach tenders to like keep the peach trees warm and to fertilize them. And they're whatever protein or carbohydrate is necessary for them not to go crazy is missing, and they're just reverting to this animalistic state. I
think we've discovered it. So they just need to get up into Tennessee or something, and they'll be fine.
I'm honestly going to be worrying for Georgia if I hear that they're too many freezing days in a row.
Yeah, right. Or a drought.
Maybe that's why Georgia almost got destroyed by 2 inches of snow last year. It wasn't that. It was the fact that it jeopardized the flow of peaches.
Yeah.
The peach must flow.
I think you're right.
All right, we figured that part. We've got that figured out now.
So he says, I really need some ass before I do whatever I'm going to do. And he heads off. And then we see Eugene watching them get it on, Abraham and Rosita. Tara catches him.
Oh, my sleek, powerful dolphin.
Yeah.
Pin me to the seafloor and have your way with me, Neptune.
Ugh.
Wait, can we go back? Can we go back to Abraham's motivation?
Sure.
So if Terminus was a catalyst.
Yep.
Why the flashback? Like, what did the flashback have to do?
I feel like Terminus is not obviously Terminus is not the catalyst for his mission in general. It feels like the flashpoint where things had been building. He had been getting derailed and constantly taken off mission, and Terminus was a thing that really just set him back, mixed with the fire truck and mixed in with just all the shit that's piling up, keeping him from his mission. Now he finally explodes. So
the reason that he's been going more and more gung-ho, and this kind of behavior started at the church, which was another exposure to the Terminites, another show, because I don't feel like Abraham fears the dead.
No, he doesn't. He says killing's the easiest thing now.
And if you think about the Terminus experience, if it wasn't for Rick and honestly Carol coming back, they would have all died.
Yeah.
So maybe that's actually put the fear of God into him a little bit. And so the flashback is informing us why he is so tied up with this concept of salvation and saving Eugene. He's transferred all of his will to live from his family to the pudgy mullet.
Yeah, so there's something I'll bring up now that happens much later in the episode when they encounter the herd. Eugene's talking, and he's trying to convince everybody to continue on with the mission despite this insurmountable obstacle. And he says something along the lines of, sooner or later you get cornered, and then you wind up staying and you wind up killing. And I feel like that is exactly what happened to him in this shop, this convenience store, wherever his family was at that point. I feel like they tried to hold up there. They stayed, and then they ended up, he had to kill these guys to protect his family, and he wants to avoid a situation that turns into that again.
Yeah, so, seems reasonable.
Yeah, so I think they do a pretty good job showing us like how afraid he is that is going to happen to him again. And how, I don't know, so his hands are really interesting, like the blood on his hands throughout the episode, which I want to talk about a little later.
Okay.
But it kind of all relates to, what's going on in his head. And I think it's worth talking about. And it's one of the big reasons why I'm kind of taking a liking to this episode a little bit more.
The wound on his hand ripping open is symbolic of the psychic wounds ripping open in his head.
You say that with a little jokingly, but I think I think that's what they're going for.
Okay.
I think it is. And I think it's fairly effective. Anyway, so what's happening here? Eugene's watching him get it on. Tara catches him. He makes some excuses, and then she encourages him to kind of toughen up. And then that's when he admits that he sabotaged the bus.
Wow.
She just decides to cover it up.
There's the thing, like, I hear what you're laying down as far as this episode and, what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
But once again, I have a problem with stuff like this. Like, in no universe does it make sense for Tara to keep this from anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was a big problem I had in season 1. Dale sees Shane come a frog's hair from murdering his friend. Dale knows that Shane has got a thing for Lori.
It was plain as potatoes.
As plain as the potatoes on Dale's face. That this was a flashing red, and it took him a season and a half before he mentions, after a lot of other sketchy behavior of Shane, oh, by the way, you might want to keep an eye on this guy. It just feels like that people in this show carry each other's weight like they're in the fucking mafia. When it'd be one thing if I guess it'd be one thing if Eugene was this really charismatic leader character that, it's like, wow, he just can't, it's like, this is so far from his image of me or my image of him that I just am going to ignore it. Whatever. I still think that would be a tough thing to swallow. But for her to just be like, look, you can't tell anyone else, and I'm not going to tell anyone. This is a secret. You've been a bad boy. Don't do it again. When he's confessed to doing it several times, that seems hard. He's
playing the helpless card. He's like,
it makes Tara look really stupid, and Tara's not a character that can afford to be made look made look stupid.
She does that enough on her own.
Like this fist bump bullshit again.
I've learned to ignore the fist bump.
Like, yeah, I know, but it's
just a part of her character.
I'm saying on the Walking Dead staff, that is seen as a cool character trait. That is seen as something, and then I don't know, because like, who would think Jesse Pinkman's act? You see that shtick in episode 1, you're like, wow, have I told you got 5 seasons of that coming ahead?
And by the end, you're gonna love it.
And by the end, you're gonna love it. You'd be like, no fucking way. Get this, this is gonna wear thin. And they kind of moderate it and they give other facets, but that core aspect of him never went away.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are they thinking that they're going to shove the fist down our throat until we learn to choke it down and love it?
Yeah, they're going to fist us.
3 seasons from now, we're going to be begging for Tara's fist.
Maybe so. I mean, as long as they use it sparingly, maybe we will. Maybe we'll be like, man, I haven't seen Tara fist bump in a while.
Yeah.
Is she done with... Oh, nope, there it is. Okay. Yeah.
When you get to we'll be looking for a Tara bottle episode. Who's she going to fist bump? There's no one else around. Is she going to fist bump a zombie in desperation?
And then she does. Anyway, she definitely has some other weird character traits, like sneaking a peek over the shelves at Rosita and Abraham.
Yeah, she's snuck a couple peeks at Rosita before. I feel like that's consistent with her character.
Yeah, no, it is. But you tell Eugene he shouldn't be doing that, and then you go do it yourself. Come on.
Well, it's one thing. Tara. It's one thing to have your pants around your ankles, breathing heavily, and staring from for the whole thing. It's another to just be like dad ass though, and then move on with your life.
Yeah, but even with a close up, you can't see anything. Come on, Tara.
She should try the echolocation thing. She should give a little bit of the dolphin over the bookshelf.
Yeah. Anyway, Glenn and Maggie are then talking about their mission, having a little downtime. I thought it was kind of funny here that while Rosita and Abraham are over there banging, Glenn tries to make a move, and he is completely shut down by Maggie. He goes in for the multiple kisses, and then boom, it's hug time.
And she smothers him with his face.
Shh.
Yeah. Shh. No more, my love.
That part of our relationship is long over.
That's
Glenn.
right. You ran through your 10 condoms back on the farm, buddy.
Yeah, so sad. They used to be the hot and heavy couple. Now they are not.
No, yep. Times have changed.
For sure.
I want to say it's because... she's mourning Beth. This is the lone evidence.
You want to say that,
this is the lone her sex drive shriveling to nothing. Is the one way she can show the world her undying love for her sister.
Sure, not by listing her among the people who she's concerned about finding. No. Not by doing that, certainly.
You know those people that we know, Carol and Daryl. I'm kind of worried about that. I wonder where they went off to.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Is it that Maggie just thinks she's dead at this point? Like, she's just completely given up
We got
hope?
a couple theories on feedback. We'll let the fans have their say.
Okay, cool.
I guess. I don't really care. At this point, if she gets hysterical about missing her sister, it would feel weird.
It would feel totally weird.
So, and I kind of wonder what... Beth could die and this could be all moot point, but it'd be super interesting how they handled them being reunited.
Yes.
Because, like, say what you will about Rick and Carl were, like, fucking broken up about Judith being dead.
Yeah.
And then it made sense for them to be, like, beside themselves with joy on the reunion and made that work. Like, it's going to be really weird to see what Maggie's reaction to her sister coming back, if it even happens.
Give her a fist bump.
Tara will take their wrists and make them form him into a fist, and then like that, it's going to be a touching moment.
Yep.
Tara brings the two sisters back together.
Powerful stuff, man.
Their Wonder Twins will activate. Maggie will turn into a bucket of water, and Beth turns into a giant condor.
Awesome. We get more flashback here. Abraham's family's scared of him. He's covered in blood. That's the end of the flashback for the moment.
So a couple observations.
Yep.
Abraham is married to Sarah Silverman with hair extensions.
Okay. Not actually married. This is, according to everybody on Reddit, his ex-wife, which is impossible to know.
Okay, sure.
On the show.
Right.
It's so I assumed that this was his family based on the way that the kid looked, the boy. Looks, I mean, he's ginger. He looks just like his dad.
That's racist.
Not racist. It's
genist.
Genist. Yeah.
Pygmist.
So I assume this was his family. There's nothing that actually tells us that other than he kind of looks like him.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah,
that's I think okay to assume.
Sure.
There's not much else that is okay to assume in this scenario. Which is the problem with it.
I'm convinced that she's been roughed up. It looks like she's got a split lip and a black eye.
Okay. Now,
there's a lot of listeners that are outraged at the suggestion that we had that Abraham might be responsible for this. I had an idea because, first of all, I don't have a real clear conception of what happens after the Hunter storyline. Like, I feel like there's 20 issues of the comic that I kind of spaced. I know stuff happens and whatever, but there's like kind of a blank spot in my memory. So I don't really I don't quite remember everything about Abraham's backstory.
Yeah.
And also the way Kirkman runs, I don't think that you can take what happened in the comics as any kind of guide for what exactly happens in this.
Sure.
And it would be a Kirkman style to throw something like the fact that maybe Abraham was a chronic abuser.
Yeah.
And, but a lot of people are outraged at the suggestion that we had that we would suggest something like that. But I thought that would be an interesting thing for the show to ponder. Like, you have this heroic character who is seen as a leader, who's seen as a badass, but he's also completely delusional about his relationship with his wife or his significant other or whatever, and she's just as afraid of him, regardless of the fact that he's beat these men to death. And we don't know why he beat the men to death.
That's the biggest problem I have with this whole scenario is we don't know if he was protecting them.
Right.
We don't know if he just got enraged like he did later on in this episode and just he blanked out and beat these guys to death for no reason.
I mean, it's perfect.
Were they breaking in? Were they part of his group?
And they're all plausible. Like a woman I mean, she's more afraid of Abraham and what he could do than she is a world full of undead zombies.
Yes.
So she has to be pretty fucking terrified, which made me, and also not just that,
but we want to know why exactly she's terrified.
If those guys were bad dudes, then, because we don't know how to judge her reaction. Was she being irrational? Mm-hmm. You know, like there's,
and people are saying, well, that's not the point. The point is that his family left him and he's a broken man because of it. I agree with part of that.
Yes.
But I think it is also a point to know why his family left him. What did he do something so horrible? Did he snap and kill part of his group?
Right.
That's super important.
Well, and we're
who
also
Abraham is, and to not even hint at that,
right,
I think is a huge problem.
And we're also in the fucked up position that we're people not living in a zombie apocalypse making moral judgments. Like, for example, and nowadays, if a guy tries to rape your son, you'd probably call the police. You know, you might subdue him, you might whatever. You probably wouldn't rip his throat out with your bare teeth. Now, I know some people listening are like, "Fuck yeah, I would." but like, and if you did rip the guy's throat out with your bare teeth, it might traumatize your son. It did not traumatize Carl. And we talked about it last week, the fact that we saw people being butchered with machetes. Like, you know, Glenn and Maggie kind of were, you know, looking like, oh my God, who are these people?
Yeah.
And we're like, man, is that even, I mean, it's crazy to ask, like, is that a human reaction to have this far into the zombie apocalypse?
Yeah.
We don't know how far into the zombie apocalypse Abraham and his wife were, so she could just be shocked purely from his rage, uncontrollable rage. She could have a previous history of domestic abuse. We just don't know. And I think it's wrong for people to just dismiss any of those possibilities or say they're not important.
Yeah,
absolutely, it's important if Abraham has an abusive personality. I think there's a lot of hints to that too. Like, he does seem like he has a hair trigger on rage. Mm-hmm. He is not above pushing his partner around if he's distracted or in a state of rage.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot of dots you could connect there if you want to. And I don't know whether they'll actually fill us in on any of that, or whether in Gimple's mind, yeah, Abraham's backstory, done. Don't need to go back there. Done.
That's what I feel like it was, because on The Talking Dead, they explained exactly why.
Wait, do we consider that a spoiler or not? Because not everybody watches The Talking Dead or the previews. So
fine, I won't even say what the backstory is.
In the spoiler section, I will.
Fine, I won't say what the backstory is. The Talking Dead explains exactly what happened there. But it's never put on screen.
Sure.
And I don't want to have to watch a show after the show to understand what I just saw. That doesn't make any sense. I don't want to have to have read the comics to infer what happened here. I don't, like, if this piece should stand on its own.
Yeah, it's lazy.
It certainly doesn't in this episode.
It's like if we had a podcast that came out on Thursday called Talking Watching Dead, and we're like, oh, the thing we forgot to mention, we actually mentioned. It happened off camera. You just didn't see it.
Yeah.
You'd be like, bullshit. You didn't do a good job podcasting.
Yeah.
Plenty of people say that anyway. I'm just saying, a Thursday podcast where we basically recant, fill in the gaps or whatever, doesn't make the original thing good in retrospect or complete. So
yeah, no, I agree 100%. Anyway, we go to Rosita tending to Abraham's cuts again. She argues that they should rest up and start this mission again at 100%. Then Maggie and Glenn think that they should stop too, but Rosita changes her tone when they start questioning Abraham. She's putting on a united front here with Abraham. And they decide they're going to take the fire truck.
You know, that's the other thing, the fact that she decided to back the group. Another reason I thought maybe that she is slightly afraid of Abraham or afraid of defying him.
Potentially. Okay.
Because he was starting, like, when she was making very good points about maybe we should rest up, maybe we should be 100%. You know, we keep the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. And his response was to get angry and shoutier until the other survivors showed up.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going under the assumption that perhaps, you know, that black eye that his ex-wife had, is given to her by Abraham, I think this, as the very next scene, reinforces that he might be a loose cannon who's capable of beating his significant others.
Okay.
I think you definitely could be onto something there. So apparently Roger and Pam, who are no longer with them, taught Rosita how to how to heal some wounds here.
And basic fire engine maintenance.
Yes, that too. I won't move on to the next scene just yet. I want to talk a little bit about this starting at 100% sort of thing.
Okay.
This is another scene that shows us, I think, why Abraham's hand is symbolic of his mental state. This idea of resting up and being at 100%. There's a very good take on Reddit about this from some guy named the Jealous One. Nope, sorry.
The Jealous One. This is
sorry.
Is this,
That's for later. That's about the shape of things to come.
Oh,
which we will talk about. That is yet to come, though.
Okay.
Anyway, so he was this person on Reddit, not the Jealous One, was analyzing the 100% and Abraham's hand. He was saying that Abraham's hand symbolizes the emotional scars that he has from losing his family, and he immediately after losing them, finding out that he lost them, Eugene comes rolling up with this mission, and that gave Abraham something else to focus on. He never was actually able to deal with losing his family, and it kept him from killing himself in that moment. But now he's just been continuously moving forward, never looking back at that, never letting that wound fully heal. And that's what is symbolized by his hand continuously opening up throughout this episode.
Yeah, no, I think they made that explicit at the end where they juxtapose his reaction to losing his family, falling to his knees, looking at the sky, being in anguish, with his reaction to him beating Eugene half to death, which was to drop to his knees, look at the sky anguished. And we'll see whether he loses his will to live or fight in another episode, I'm supposing.
Yeah,
but
and the blood on his hands after he beats those people, he realizes that action is what caused his family to leave him and get killed. And, the comparison of the blood on the hands there and the blood on the hands in the current timeline.
I'm just impressed if for the first time in history, someone got a bloody hand without it being a blatant Christ figure. Like, okay. I can't remember a single fucking time that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Making a point of someone having bloody palms and it not being a Christ figure. So, kudos, Gimple. Kudos for not having him strike a Scott Stapp pose or whatever at the end.
Also, first time in history.
Is it Scott Stapp?
Yeah, Scott Stapp.
Okay, good.
Creed?
Yeah.
Sure.
I tried to split the difference between an F and a P and it just didn't work. And I couldn't play it off as, it's Aaron being a mushmouth again. I wanted to get clarity on that.
Gotcha. So they run out. They start up the fire truck just long enough to let the walkers out of the firehouse. Then it dies. Walkers come pouring out, and they have to defend themselves. And then Eugene goes superhero here, sprays them all down with the hose, and they move on.
Yeah, there's some good stuff here. First of all, Abraham is ripped this season.
He's in much better shape.
I talked about last season where Michael Cudlitz just kind of showed up a little doughy. Little less than impressive, a little more
loose in the cage, as Tony Horton would say.
Loose in the cage. So he's a little loose in the cage. He's like every single time he moves his arms, like those guns are on display. And, and his
pushing that starter button.
Yeah.
Boom. Gun show.
Yeah. We're just rippling. that button could have taken 200 pounds of force per square inch. No problem. He's mashing it down. So I liked that. I really liked the multi-stage head takedown that Abraham did at this one particular zombie with the rifle butt.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, that scene in The Protector where it was a Tony Jaa would every once in a while, every fifth goon he took out, he'd do this elaborate multi-stage joint destruction. I will dislocate your shoulder, your wrist, and now the elbow. Snap, snap, snap. He did that with a zombie's head. That was very cool.
That was super cool. Almost won zombie kill of the week for me.
I can't wait to see what it actually does.
Okay.
Having a hard time with this what happens next, which
the fire hose,
because the fire engine wasn't on, man.
I know.
So that seems like it's impossible. And number two, I just don't buy that walkers are essentially sandcastles.
But we've seen that time and time again, haven't we? The walkers are so mushy, you can take them out by hitting them with marshmallows. So crushing skulls, not a problem.
Sure.
Under boot.
Blunt force trauma I can get. I can understand. But, and I don't know, maybe you could just cut through them like a laser with a high pressure hose. I don't know. I think it'd be what if they split the difference and just had him knock the zombies down, which gave the other survivors a chance to go rampage on them. I don't know.
But that wouldn't be nearly as cool, right?
Well, is this scene cool?
I think it's kind of cool. It's certainly not the coolest method I've seen for dispatching zombies, but
here's my rule for The Walking Dead.
It was pretty cool.
Treat zombies like oil. They don't mix with water. Don't fuck about with them in the well. Don't want to see them in a flooded basement. Don't want to see them dissolved like a sandcastle in the tide. Zombies and water don't mix. Keep the zombies dry.
I was going to give Zombie Kill of the Week to the one whose head he took off with the hose. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing
I guess
is,
if you don't buy the idea of the hose altogether, then
I see the CG blood, and the CG blood was perhaps overused.
Okay.
CG water.
Well, you have to, right?
Do you? You can't just hose actors dead, because that wasn't like a full power.
I could tell, yeah.
Spray. That was like a state. That's a Hollywood spray. So why can't you hit a stuntman in the face with a big water hose?
I guess you could.
Yeah, and then surely you got to digitally take off his head, but the CGI water is a bit much. I think overuse of digital effects there.
Okay.
When they could have just gone analog. Fair opinion.
Enough. What did you think about seeing Sick Inside Let Them Die when he sprayed off the ground? I thought that was a cool callback to The Doors, Dead Inside, Don't Open.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't think Abraham is laughing at that.
No, he's not.
He's laughing at just how fucked up, and that's the thing is, I actually liked that. I thought that was pretty funny, because Abraham seems like the kind of guy that would giggle at just the depravity of all that zombie gut sluicing and wet dead zombie smell. Yeah, wet dog's got nothing on it.
Yeah, we'll talk later about perhaps Abraham's background in the military, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, that's my Zombie Kill of the Week.
Okay.
The Headless Hose Walker.
What did you think about the intake for the zombie engine being on the roof and just clogged with human entrails and whatnot? Like, did they
I don't know. Like, how does a walker get up there? Did
they drive the fire engine through a red sea of walkers? What the hell?
The front of it looks like it's covered in guts. The radiator intake is covered in guts.
No, the front end looks like it's been laminated by walkers, sure.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, like, somehow a walker got on the roof and somehow it died right on top of the intake. I don't know.
But then someone came by and scraped it off the roof but left the intake. I mean, this is nitpicking even for me. I'm just saying there's multiple reasons why this scene just didn't work for me.
Sure.
It seemed very contrived and like they didn't care about any kind of real grounding, and that's what it takes for me to feel like the zombies are a threat and to feel like it's cool when the heroes destroy them.
Yeah, I felt like it wasn't quite spectacular enough to justify the liberties that they took. Like, if this had been more like, walkers falling from the ceiling and spinning by their guts and that sort of thing, that was more spectacular to me.
Yeah, no, the Walmart zombies I thought was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, and so the strength of guts for me was not a problem.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I'm definitely down for the rule of cool. You're right, this wasn't cool enough to justify. Now, if that was 500 gallons of gasoline,
oh my god,
and Eugene was up there hosing down with a flamethrower, and he'd done some kind of redneck,
apparently he used all
MacGyver.
500 gallons in that amount of time,
and he sparks up a battery in front of it, and that would be cool.
That'd be pretty badass.
That'd be cool.
But I guess he used up all 500 gallons. Is that
Supposedly, right? I don't know. 500 gallons isn't a lot.
I mean, I guess when you're spraying it out of a fire hose, no, it's not.
Right. From a some kind of pump system that violates the laws of thermodynamics. You can move a lot of water through that.
So we get another flashback. I think this is second to last flashback here. Abraham's family's gone. They left him a note, "Don't try to find us." So what does he do? He goes to try and find them.
Abraham, you got to look after them kids.
What?
You don't know nothing about that.
You're right.
It's an inside joke that's not even you are in on.
Oh, Jesus. Is anyone in on it other than you?
Oh, yeah. There's a couple thousand laughing out there.
Okay. Anyway, Eugene's reading The Shape of Things to Come by H.G. Wells.
Mm-hmm.
Maggie comes up, psychoanalyzes him, tells him the story of Samson, and then says that Eugene is not like him. Samson's hair was much more beautiful. So, the shape of things to come. Here is where the jealous one has something to say. I looked this up on Wikipedia because I have not read this book, even though I'm a big fan of science fiction and a big fan of H.G. Wells. Have not read it. It is basically the story of a big war. It's an alternative history from 1933 to 2106. And it describes a big world war and eventual plague that challenges humanity, let's say. And there's a dictatorship that forms around it, and they abolish religion, and they do all these things in favor of creating this kind of utopia, trying to re-piece humanity back together and create it better than it was before. The Jealous One on Reddit has 2 passages from the book that seem to describe the plague that happens to be similar to the Walker Plague that we see in the Walking Dead. So I want to read those passages just real quick. First one is, the disease appeared first in the vicinity of the London Zoological Gardens and spread thence with incredible rapidity. It discolored the face and skin, produced a violent fever, cutaneous irritation, and extreme mental distress, causing an uncontrollable desire to wander. Then the bodily energy vanished in collapse, and the victim lay down and died. Fever was not simply infectious through water, but transmitted by the almost impalpable scab scratched off by the sufferer. Wind, water, and the demented sick carried it everywhere. About half humanity was vulnerable, and so far as we know, now all who were vulnerable took it, and all who took it died. Sounds a lot like the zombie virus.
It sounds like a zombie virus. It sounds a lot like Captain Trips. Wasn't that from The Stand?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's definitely...
Causing them to wander is kind of interesting.
Yeah, because that's like, walker, roamer. They've had those terms, geeks. That has nothing to do with that. Never mind. Strike that from the record, please. But I do think that, there has some similarities looking back, and I wonder if there's not some foreshadowing there, too, in the... It sounds like this is society taking extreme measures to try to reboot civilization. I wonder if they're hinting that, in the seasons to come, we'll see some of that.
Yeah, potentially. So the second passage just kind of talks more about the wandering, so I'll skip that.
Okay.
But I thought that was pretty interesting, parallel to The Walking Dead.
What do you think about the Samson business?
I don't know what the fuck to make about Samson, honestly.
When reading the Bible, I always thought that, too, when you get to that part in Judges or whatever it is, and Samson is walking through, he sees this dead lion, there's honey inside of it, and he tells us, like, how in the fuck, like, this is a man, you at least got because then he goes off and kills them all. If he doesn't get his answer, he, like, slays them all with a moist ass's jawbone, and then cuts off their foreskins and brings them in a Kroger's bag to somewhere. It's crazy. But it's like, that's not playing fair. Like, okay. I could ask, here's your riddle. What 3 objects do I have on my dresser at home? Mm-hmm. And if you don't know it, I'm going to kill you, you fool. Is that Gimple trying to tell us about his mental process? Like, you can't understand, unless you're inside this madness, unless you're inside the cage with me, you can't see where I'm going. You can't tell where I'm coming from. Don't even try. Jim and Aaron. It's a fool's errand.
I don't know.
It's the madness of the riddle about the honey inside the dead lion.
Yeah, it beats me. I don't know what that Samson stuff meant in relation to Eugene.
Yeah.
People smarter than I certainly will talk about it.
I'm telling you, it's the Gimple's thought process. The answers are only in his head.
Could be. Well, certainly a lot of the shit that should have made it onto the screen is only in his head, so we know that much. Anyway, so they smell something horrible while they're parked here in the middle of the road. Doing what to this truck? Did the truck break down? Did Abraham need a sandwich? Like, what is going on there?
Yeah, he was crouched over this equipment locker kind of thing in the middle of it. I don't think it was an engine compartment, and he acted like he could just go back and start it up.
Yeah.
Maybe they're all taking a piss break. I don't know. I don't think it's super important, but they all seem stopped.
I mean, if your mission is to not stop.
Yeah, they were all stopped for a long and indeterminate time.
standing guard and everything. Yeah,
which that's really funny scene from Tara where he's like, we can't stop, we are stopped.
That was awesome.
Like, don't make fist bump be the voice of reason, Abraham.
Sure. No, I like that. Ever. I really enjoyed that, Tara. Good call. They smell something horrible. They spot the herd just down the road, but for some reason, Abraham refuses to turn around, and Rosita finally takes the side of the group for once, and then Abraham flips out, causing Eugene to reveal that he's full of shit.
Yeah. That's the scene.
Yeah, I'm going to break this, I guess, into two pieces, kind of like Abraham broke Eugene into two pieces. We'll get to that in a second, but there's this moment where Abraham is talking to himself after he sees the herd. He's talking to himself. He says, "I will not lie down. I will not abase. I will not give up the ship." I know that I don't give up the ship is a slogan of the Navy. Does this mean that Abraham is a Navy man?
I don't know that is true. Don't give up the ship.
No?
Yeah, I feel like that's...
I mean, I've seen that. I know I've heard that said, and I know I've seen it around.
I mean, I feel like that's
maybe
a naval...
it's more generic.
Yeah. Like, I could see, don't give up the ship is old school Navy. I mean, used to be...
Sure.
In the age of sail, it used to be an automatic court-martial to surrender.
Okay.
Now a lot of times you get acquitted, but the fact that it was a court martial just for surrendering was some shit. So I don't know. And I searched for these quotes because he said, "I will not abase. I will not give up the ship." I mean, he could be Navy, could be Marine. He could just be spouting random military shit. Maybe he's a soldier.
That's the thing.
Maybe he's a Soldier of Fortune subscriber.
All right.
Who the hell knows?
He's clearly trying to pump himself up here to keep himself going on his mission.
Or is he just kind of going crazy? Like, to me, this is Rick in the... This here was Rick in the Tombs. Mm-hmm. Like, and similar, Glenn tried to get in front of it, and he almost got ganked for his trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it might be, him trying to keep himself sane by saying these things. But, I mean, clearly he's trying to stay focused on the mission at that point, in face of this literal wall put up in front of him of the dead. Mm-hmm. You got the dead carpet. Well, now we got the dead wall.
Yeah. No, you can't drive through a herd.
No, you can't. Not even with a fire truck.
And that's, I mean, like, Abraham is fully insane here because that's a crazy strategy. This truck has already proved to be unreliable. You don't have any supplies.
Yeah.
This thing breaks down for whatever reason in the middle of that herd, and it's over. You can't fight unless you're Chad Coleman armed with a hammer. You are not going to get out of that herd.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's also awesome here that Rosita doesn't take his side. And I feel like it's playing into him going crazy even more because now he's losing the other person who he's come to be intimate with. And it's like, oh my God, this is happening all over again. Now she's leaving me, and it just drives him over the edge, Yeah.
And, also, and this isn't bad. This isn't a bad thing the show did. It's just another thing that drove me nuts is them yelling and screaming on the fringe of a horde.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I understand they're far enough away they can't hear you, smell you, but you start screaming, I'm pretty sure there's got to be some zombie skirmishers on the flanks, like on the... you'll draw the attention. That's how herds form. Like one or two notice a pattern, they all go, like a flock of birds. Not a good look, Abraham. Not a good look.
Sure. So after Eugene reveals that he's full of shit, he then goes on to explain that he is smarter than everyone here. Specifically, Eugene tells Abraham that he's smarter than him, and that's when Abraham puts him in a coma. I mean, he destroys Eugene's head.
Yeah, so Eugene is just full on Forrest Gump at this point.
What do you mean by that? He doesn't understand the consequences of what he's saying?
I guess I was on board with the fact that Eugene is a con man and that he's manipulating somewhat skillfully people, and that a lot of this, mullet and the flat affect and the kind of gamer, the worst stereotypes of gamer affect was also stuff that he was just putting on to make him seem less of a threat, to make him seem less of a schemer. But saying to Abraham, who is enraged, I am smarter than you, that just seems like he is... he's Sonya from the bridge. He's full-on autistic at that point. And that's kind of limited, just kind of like in the bridge, it's kind of limiting what you're doing with that character. There is a range of human relationships and experiences that it's going to be a real struggle to believe this character engaging in going forward, which may or may not be a problem. I don't know. It was a surprise to me, and it just seems so incredibly stupid. I mean, what's he going to, like, you know, line up and just start giving harsh truths to people? Glenn, Maggie could do better, you know. Rick, your accent sucks.
Tara, nobody likes a fist bump.
Carl, you're 18, you're shaving. Take off that top hat. Leave the top hats to me, and they better be Tennessee.
Is it possible that he thought he just miscalculated? He thought he was going to be able to get more words out than he did before he got plastered.
No, I mean, don't you get the idea that he just can't help himself?
I did when he was talking to Tara earlier in the library. I thought maybe he was confessing because he couldn't help himself.
Yeah, I was really hoping to see that a lot of this was a put on, that, you know, because that's the other thing was with the remix mode. I really wasn't sure as early as like the first episode of this season whether that Kirkman is going to make it be that he did have some kind of secret or some kind of knowledge. And I mean, obviously they weren't going to go to DC and just fix everything.
Sure.
But you know, if I'm Eugene, I'm committed to strategy. Why not have him take me to DC? Because there's two possibilities. DC is a safe zone, and you get in there and you're like, yep, I lied, fuckers. Now what are you going to do? I'm surrounded by safety, and they're not going to just let you beat me to death. Or Washington, D.C. is up in flames, and he can be like, my God, they got D.C. too. Curses, I can never kill. You know, if only we could find a terminal in all the rubble. I mean, if you're in for a penny, in for a pound, you have already let 9 people die for you. Glenn is the breaking point. I mean, I guess that's fine. It just seems weird.